there's got to be a reason why God put you through that. What do you think that reason is?
That's a really good question, actually. And I do believe it's because I was meant to see, from an early age how, much disease plagues our society on a physical level of how we are just being poisoned on a daily basis and not given the proper resources and tools to know how to navigate through these stresses of everyday life, and that they just want to suppress them with pills or with medications or just junk food, TV. And I just
social media.
Yeah, social media, all of it, right? And so I just seeing it like just so in my face from that early age made me realize like I want to dedicate my life to educate and show people that there's another way.
Welcome to another episode of Out of the System. I'm your host, Leo Climaco. Today's guest is a journalist, but not one of these journalists that bullshits and gives his opinion. No. David is everywhere. Everywhere he needs to be, he is there. He is the connector's connector. How are you, David?
Oh, very good. Thank you so much for having me on here, Leo.
I am so happy that you're here, bro. I've been wanting to talk to you for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, man. It's been a couple years since we first met, and it's been a long time coming here. So, just been seeing you around everywhere as well. So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
Glad our paths crossed.
Yes, me too. Tell me, did you always want to be a journalist? How did it start for you?
So, yeah, I always knew, like, for me, actually, I'll tell you the story here. It was actually a really funny story. So I was 14 years old, and, at that time, it came from very humble beginnings, and had my first girlfriend, and my heart broke, and I was like, didn't know what to do at that time.
Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So this was like, right outside, and it's like kind of a rough area, but it was still enough to where I was like, had a pretty decent upbringing.
Yeah.
And so I had my first girlfriend at that time, 14, and then when I had my heartbreak, when we broke up the first time, like I just didn't know what to do with myself. I was like very lost, and then sunk into this depression. And, growing up, we didn't really have any outlets or people like around that were just telling us like how to deal with depression, because it's like no one was thinking at that age that it would be something they're dealing with. And then, same time when I started to have kids around me doing like cannabis and alcohol and drugs and like even hard drugs. And so, and also my father came and, had a lot of issues with drugs as well from the time I was born. So I always had to kind of steer away from that to
navigate that.
Yeah. And my mom always told me like, hey, you don't want to end up like your dad, do you? So I had to pretty much like decide for myself, like I would never go down that route. And it's been, my whole life, I've never done any hard drugs or alcohol really at all. So very thankful for that. But then I started to look up online because I was like, wanted to listen to my mom. So I'm like, all right, let me look up how do I cure this depression naturally. And I found this YouTuber, his name was Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters. And he was the first one I'll never forget that like just opened my eyes. And he would have videos coming out every single day. And I quickly just got so absorbed into them. And the way he
I love that.
Introduced them, he would say, "Greetings, family, Infinite Waters back here diving again in the heart of nature." And just like such an incredible, like enthusiastic intro each time. And as I was navigating, that depression, I was like thinking to myself, this guy must have certain days where he must be also like sad or, but still somehow manages to make a video. And I was like, that just triggered something within me to realize like, depression is like comes and goes in waves. But when you have a certain thing that you're committed to and a mission to like also uplift others, then you can learn how to just build that discipline to where you'll be able to work through it. And like, then I, had these quotes that always resonate with me, which is like, I'm not saying that depression isn't real, but if you don't have certain systems in place, then you'll never give yourself a fighting chance.
That's right.
So, ever since it's been 10 years and that was my dream, and now it's been 6 years of every single day making content, just like, Ralph Smart inspired me back then. And it's honestly, I'm even getting chills just thinking about it now. Cause I'm like, wow, this is like the way it's changed my trajectory. And
snowballed.
Yeah. And into where it is now. Like, I'm just so grateful for where I am, honestly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Proud of you. Proud of you for digging yourself out. You know,
Yep.
going into the pit, like, all right, I don't like it here. I'm getting out. You know,
Yeah.
I love that because most people stay stuck in the rabbit hole. You know, and they spiral down and keep going. What do you think gave you that strength to climb up? Was it your mom?
That's actually, yeah, a great question. And I would say a lot of it did come from thinking about how would it affect the people around me. And it's funny, you know, you ask, yeah, my mom, because I remember too, when I was 18, I had just like graduated high school. I was figuring out what am I going to do now. I always knew like I wanted to do pretty much what I am doing now, which is like impacting others through,
Yeah.
you know, journalism, media, as well as like creating my own business and doing coaching with others as well. My first coach that I hired when I was 18, with like all the money I had at that time, the first question he asked me before we started working was, like, what would be the consequence if you don't take the action necessary to live the life of your dreams? And when he asked me that, that's when I started to realize, like, there were people growing up around me I knew that had committed suicide. People I knew growing up around me that had, you know, died in horrible like overdoses or accidents. And I mean, even, you know, my mom, I mean, I won't get too deep into stories, but there were times, you know, when I had made her very worried and upset about, you know, the path that I was on, just growing up around kids that were not necessarily the best influences.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, being able to reflect and see exactly how other people were affected, and knowing that if I didn't step into this role to be like a leader and example for those around me, that even if I could save one person's life with the message that I'm sharing and like what I'm doing, then that would be enough to know that it's all worth it.
You're so genuine, David. You really are. You're very genuine. Are you an only child?
I do have one brother.
Yeah. Older?
He's a year younger.
You're younger. Okay. Are you guys close?
Well, you know, I can talk to him about anything. So, you know, I've had very close moments with him, but, you know, he's on a different trajectory, I would say, in terms of like, you know, he went and got a college degree and
Got it.
and is working in that field. And like I did get a degree too, but I got it in business, and now I have my own business. So like, you know, it's kind of two different trajectories.
Yeah.
But he's also looking at what I'm doing, and we also learn from each other. So, you know, we still have a good relationship.
How'd you get into the biohack world?
Yeah, in the biohacking world, that's a good question. So actually, like similar to what I had just shared with you about with Infinite Waters, like when I was 14, I started to learn that, you know, nutrition, diet, and your routines play such a critical role into how you feel each day. And so he actually, you know, instilled something within me about how to reprogram your subconscious and how to ultimately be able to attract the life of your dreams just by, you know, the thoughts that you put in your brain each day. And not only that, but also giving yourself time and space to truly reflect on what you're doing each day. And like, are you a human doing or a human being? You know, like, are you walking throughout life trying to just like go?
That's a bar.
Right, you know? Or are you taking that time to actually like sit and reflect and be like, hey, you know, there's something so much greater. Like my problems that might seem so big now are just like a small like drop in the ocean compared to this infinite cosmic existence that I'm in. So for me, that was what got me started like on the spiritual journey, which then led into biohacking. But like when people ask me what does biohacking mean, I believe it's the full encompassing of your mind, body, and spirit, and just how do you treat it, and what are the ways that you help to like cope with the stresses of everyday life, you know, to become your best version.
Yeah. I want to get personal with you a little bit. Do you feel like you grew up faster than you had to?
Yeah, I would say so, for sure.
I picked that up from you being 14 years old and thinking such adult things at 14, right? Depression and trying to figure out ways of, you know, thinking and doing things. Like, that's like 20 something, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I've been thinking, why do you think you were forced to think of that at 14?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, look, I'll tell you something which I don't share with many people, but I just feel called to share. My family was not just my dad. My whole family on my dad's side was dealing with drug and alcohol addiction. My uncle literally had offered us like cigarettes and, you know, I shouldn't
You and your
even,
brother.
yeah, I shouldn't even say the rest, but just you can think about what are the hard drugs
Yeah.
that get around on the streets and like
Yeah.
my cousin literally did do them and he was suffering Xanax addiction from the time he was
Wow.
like 10 years old.
That's crazy.
And so, you know, I was being offered that. And thankfully, you know, my mom instilled enough in me to know that this like could have ever happened. So she always was like, don't ever touch anything your dad gives you or your uncle. Like, and so I never did. But, you know, just going through that and seeing it and how it affected my family,
Yeah.
I knew that I had to like step up to like be an example for my, you know, for my mom, for the rest of my family, and also for my dad. Like I wanted to show him like, hey, you know, you have something so much greater to live for. And ultimately, I'm so thankful to say like he came around, but he had, you know, times when he was like suicidal as well. So
I'm so happy to hear that.
yeah.
How is your relationship today with your dad?
right now it's better than it's ever been, honestly.
That's incredible. I'm
because,
so happy for you.
yeah, like thankfully it's been about a year now that he's been fully sober, and throughout
Good
my
for
whole life,
him.
never, you know, was sober until just the past year. And, you know, just the relationship, the way like I can just feel every time I talk, he's living for a higher purpose and actually like
That's so
has a
beautiful.
relationship with God too.
That's so beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
What sparked this change?
What sparked it really? You mean for him or
For him.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to like even reflect on that too. So yeah, he had committed or like made an attempt to commit suicide when he was like just like 3 years ago. And so in that moment, what happened was he was cutting and bleeding out on the floor, and then his girlfriend at the time had came home and saw him bleeding out and actually called the ambulance to come
Wow.
and save his life. And then when he came out, he still hadn't even fully stopped at that point, which is crazy. Like, you know, because our whole life he was so good at hiding things, like I didn't even know, you know, but he was still continuing to do it. And it wasn't until basically he had asked me to, like, he wanted to live with me and for me to just help him get out of this hole. So I did offer that, and he was living with me for maybe like a month. And then like he actually like relapsed again. And then I was like, sorry, Dad, like I really want to help you, but I just can't. And then
How hard was that for you?
that was like, yeah, one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make, because I knew like if I just let him go, like he could slip down that
And
rope again.
Yeah.
But like I had to be very firm with myself, and my whole family was also telling me like you have to do this. So, and then like thankfully right after, he just kind of like it hit him and he realized like this is not sustainable.
The
Like
roles are reversed here,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Who's the dad? Who's the child?
Yeah, that's my family. Yeah, my friends all said that. But yeah,
Wow. Wow, you're a brave soul, man.
thank you. Yeah.
I'm sorry you have to go through that, but there's got to be a reason why God put you through that. What do you think that reason is?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, actually. And I do believe it's because I was meant to see, you know, from an early age how, you know, much disease plagues our society on a physical level of how we are just being poisoned on a daily basis and not given the proper resources and tools to know how to navigate through these stresses of everyday life. And that they just want to suppress them with pills or with medications
Yeah.
or just junk food, you know, TV. And I just like,
Social media.
yeah, social media, all of it, right? And so I just seeing it like just so in my face from that early age made me realize like I want to dedicate my life to educate and show people that there's another way. So that's literally what I've been doing ever since.
That's beautiful. All right, let's change topics, because that was deep, and thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. I feel like because of your upbringing, it has required you to connect. It's required you to go investigate. It's required you to go learn. It's required you to be curious, right? And look at where that curiosity has taken you. I think it's beautiful. Where do you see this path going? Where do you want it to end?
That's a really good question. Actually, you know, I've always said to myself, and I know the path is never complete until every person has been saved. And what does that mean? Like, to be saved, there's the biblical, the religious perspective of like coming to have a relationship with God and to know that, you're part of something that's so much greater than yourself. But there's also saved in the sense of we have literal physical like challenges of like lack of food, lack of water, people
Yes.
that are starving, that are hungry, that just are like dying left and right in countries throughout the globe. So until we address those basic root cause issues, then like we know as a human race, we still have a long way to go. So I believe that is the first endpoint. And then the next endpoint would be getting to a place where we can also have relationships with other species and races. And I mean, I personally have had experiences where I've been able to talk to plants, and I know that there's also science that has been studied to show that there are certain frequencies that plants can pick up on, and they perceive like human vibration coming out of words. And
Bro, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, so I believe like we need to have a symbiotic relationship with not even just the plant kingdom, but the animal kingdom and the earth kingdom as a whole. And then when we evolve from that, we can also talk about, other alien races and stuff too that I don't believe are necessarily alien, like in the sense that they're out to get us and they're like some strangers. But I mean, if you think about how many, planets and stars that we know that are out there, like there's just almost literally impossible. Like even the top people like Elon
Yeah,
Musk,
we're
and
not
NASA,
alone.
yeah, they all know that it's just statistically impossible. So when we reach that point where we resolve the human needs and then have the relationship with the plant, the animal, and the earth kingdom, then beyond, and like it just honestly never stops.
David, the $100 trillion question. How do we get there?
Yeah, that's
How do we get to that utopia, right? How's that happen?
oh, that's a really good question. I ask myself this every day, actually, and I've based my business, like I just created a new company, Soulmatch AI, to actually help people connect with their soul to achieve a level where you can live the life of your dreams and then figure out your purpose in life and use that, with all the advancements we have in AI nowadays. There's so many ways that like everyone can just
Yeah.
like have their needs met and then be able to focus in on those things that are going to uplift themselves and the people around them. So I think the best thing that all of us can do is just to educate ourselves and each other about the abundance of natural tools and resources that are available, aside from like AI and just the ways that, like agents are advancing to where you can have like someone like create a business on autopilot for
Bro,
you.
it's so crazy.
Yeah. But like aside from that, in the financial sense, also, like you can also see how there's other projects that I'm personally involved with that are creating solutions that have proven to be scaled to treat the water and the food crisis and the energy crisis. And that's why I go to a lot of these family office events and meeting with like candidates of government and, presidential leaders, and including President Trump. And I actually, when I got a chance to meet Don Jr., I said, like, we've got the solution to the water crisis. And one of my friends has met him before that was on the team. So eventually we will be getting this to the highest level places for them to know. And just, I think we have to hold them accountable because a lot of them know that the tools are there. And I'll just say the names, like Pulse Industries is one of them. You can look up online, Pulse Industries, creating like laser systems to treat water, food, and medical sterilization at scale. Won the Earth-05 prize at Davos last year, so they know that it's scalable for the rest of the world. The MicroSnap Carbon is a project I'm involved with that is actually taking methane carbon emissions from hyper-triggered microorganisms that they plant into waste landfills and turn it into green recycled compostable waste, to where that can actually be used to regenerate the soils and get rid of our carbon emissions. And then on top of that, the last thing I'll just say is also another company, Eden Energy Co., that can turn trash from landfills into fuel. So just like, I could go on and on about this. I'm just so passionate about it. But
really
that
are.
$1 trillion question, these are the ways, like there's just so much abundance of resources and knowledge. We just have to educate each other.
Why aren't companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, why aren't they jumping on this?
That's a great question. We're actually going to be potentially meeting the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink,
Okay,
at
yes.
an event coming up here very
Some say
soon.
he runs the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I actually said to myself, like, if I do have that opportunity to meet him, I'm gonna be asking him this. But I mean, what I feel I've personally been able to do that has allowed me to enter into these rooms and be welcomed in is that I don't ask from a standpoint of like trying to blame other people, because I've had to also learn at an early age, if you blame others rather than take accountability, then you're just like feeding a delusion to yourself,
Yes.
because you have the solutions. Like, if they could do it, you could do it too. So why not just empower each other and educate with the knowledge and the tools and resources that are available? So that's what I do when I go to these events. And if I meet him, that's what I'm going to tell him. It's like the same thing I just mentioned about all these incredible like technologies that are available that we can utilize. And I would like to say it on camera in front of a large crowd, just so he knows that, hey, someone's bringing that to his attention. And the more we can do that, not just bring it to their attention, but have real backing, scientific studies, backings from government leaders, working boots on the ground to get people all across the world to unite and say, hey, these tools are real. They exist.
They work.
They work.
Yeah.
We've proven it. We need to tell the governments, because the power of the people has throughout history always been more strong than any oligarch or hierarchy that's existed.
As a podcaster, I needed a place to share my voice and hear other stories. That's how Forge Studios was born. A place created not just for me, but for everyone searching for something more. An environment where as soon as you walk in, you feel the energy and you feel welcomed. Where being seen and heard is part of the experience. A place for entrepreneurs to share their journey, for creators to bring ideas to life, for businesses to grow authentically. A space that values mental health, encourages real conversations, and supports those who turns ideas into impact. Here at the Forge Studios, creativity, culture, and purpose aligns and comes together to help you create something greater. A place where we leave the filters behind and we start expressing ourselves for real. The Forge Studio. Your journey starts here. Your impact starts now.
Tell me about Soul.ai.
Yeah, Soulmatch.
Soulmatch.
AI. Yeah, so that's a company. My friend,
Sounds incredible.
yeah, my friend who is my co-founder on this, has been in development for the past 3 years, and I've always known that I needed to create an app that's literally just like this. But it wasn't until I met him that like he had all the pieces to the puzzle that I was missing. Put $1 million.
The yin to your yang.
Yeah, he was the yin to my yang. His name is Wake, and hope for you to meet him someday soon.
We'd love to.
So he had $1 million invested into years of meeting with world leaders and then creating the infrastructure behind this supreme AI matching software that we have, which allows you to essentially go in and type and say, hey, I'm going to be at this podcast with Leo Klima in an hour. I would like for you to connect me with all the people that are podcast leaders in the South Florida area that we can send this to and have them reach out to us so we can get even bigger podcast features. And that's something I'm literally going to do right after this with our tool.
Wow.
So that just gives you an example. But so it's an AI match finding tool, and it uses it to connect you with other souls, but on a soul level. So that's the thing that sets us apart as well.
Incredible.
Because, AI can be used for anything nowadays. Like, I'm sure someone in like a month with the new, advancements with Claude could probably just like recreate it, even though we have patent pending on it. But what they can't replace is the level of connection to the soul that we've been able to program into this through our years of experience living on that journey and seeing what are the ways of how we connect to each other, on a physical, emotional, spiritual level that we can incorporate here to also help you create your ideal profile. And when you have that ideal profile, you have more knowledge about yourself than like anyone
Yes.
could ever, possibly get from you. And instead of Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram collecting copious amounts of data to figure out how to feed you the best ads and content to get you to stay consuming their apps, we can use that same information to help you create from the highest levels within yourself to advance yourself, within your business, within your personal life, within your relationships, and ultimately just to become the best version of you.
Where do you see AI in 20 years?
Great question, actually. Yeah, in 20 years, man, there's actually no telling. Like even I watch Elon and Peter Diamandis all the time. I actually just met Peter Diamandis 2 weeks ago. He's like one of Elon's very good friends, runs the Abundance 360, where they actually have these prizes they give out each year to whoever has the most innovative companies,
Wow.
including in AI. So he's very much on top of the game. And, they all even say like, they can't even tell in a month from now how much it's going to
moving so
advance,
fast.
right? But, being around these leaders, these people that I've been so fortunate enough to be around, one thing I've learned is that, there is so much more people that want to use it to evolve humanity in a conscious way
Yes.
than what will be presented ever on the media. So I would really encourage people to find alternative media outlets, whether it's podcasts like this or actually going in person to events to like meet people yourself
Yes.
and see that people want to help steer this in a very positive direction. And, I mean, if you turn on the news, right, all you're going to see is like war and like
Yes.
the next World War III is going to be fought with like drones and all this stuff. Like,
Bullshit.
well, there's a layer to it. Like there is some layer of that it's bullshit, but I mean, obviously there are real like weapons of war and
for
mass
sure.
destruction
People are
that
dying.
exist, right? And people are dying.
100%.
Yep.
Yes, 100%.
But on the same token, that's literally like less than 1% of the actual people that are boots in the ground, like every day working to create a better future for the
Yes.
world. So yeah, once you get a chance to really immerse yourself, you'll start to see how many people are driving the needle forward in the right way. And I believe the people I've been so fortunate enough to meet, helping to safeguard and keep AI advancing in a positive direction, are going to like absolutely just like take humanity to levels that we could have never imagined. Star Trek and these movies that have been created, I believe, are actual roadmaps of like where we're heading.
Do you think all jobs are done?
That's a great question too. I don't think that they're done. I do think that they're going to be changed, and that this is something I always listen to Peter Diamandis talking about, is that people are going to have to essentially learn how to create from levels of prompting, and whoever knows how to prompt the best will essentially have the best jobs, in the future. So
Yeah.
I really encourage people, and with our software with Soulmatch, we actually created these learning modules to tell you how to prompt and give you, questions that you never even thought to ask. And the better we can learn how to ask the right questions, the more we're going to be able to unlock our unbounded creativity that we have as humans. And I really, encourage that so much for anybody. If you've never like thought to take a course or really dive deep into prompting with, ChatGPT or Claude, I really encourage you to just start having conversations with it and just learn how it works.
Pick its brain.
Yeah, pick its brain, because you will then start to like be able to just like get the answer to anything that you want. But the other point I just want to say about that too is that it could be a tricky thing if you start to get too much answers, that like you start to get lazy and you don't want to do enough self-inquiry. Then you'll end up like also having brain mechanisms that just don't fire off the right neurons that allow you to actually like derive the answer that you need for
There's
yourself.
a balance, right?
Yeah, so there's always a balance. So that's why I always encourage spiritual practice as well, whether it's prayer, meditation,
I agree.
Any like longevity-based routines, just to help you carve out time for self-inquiry each day. So that way you don't become reliant on a machine to derive answers,
David, what makes a good connector?
Great connector for me is somebody that is driven by something greater than themselves, ultimately, because when you are connecting two people together, they want to know that you are not just like only in this yourself's best interest, but you have the interest of all parties at hand. And I've been fortunate enough to, mediate and derive, great outcomes on a business level, but also mediating, large issues from people that were, in arguments, like literally just right before I even got on this podcast, had to deal with something like that. And I've always been told personally, like people just tell me that they always found that I'm able to see, from both sides and just become very neutral. And that's always how I've aimed to live my life. Like, I don't consider myself a Republican or a liberal, or, I don't have a side on my religion either. I actually learned from both Christianity, Judaism, which I grew up with both backgrounds, and I learned from both and derived my own perspectives from there. And then ultimately, just create the best, like, open-minded perspective that I can have on everything. And that was something I learned from somebody who I want to shout out, actualize.org, to help you actualize your purpose. He had a video called The Power of Open-Mindedness. And he said in that video, open-mindedness is the number one underrated skill that you can have to essentially, advance in all areas of life. And that's something I always, stuck by.
That's a great advice. How old are you, David?
25.
You're 25 years old. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You're so young, bro.
Appreciate.
You have your whole life ahead of you. You're gonna be incredible. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I see you? I see you as, like, not politically, but I see you having that kind of influence, like a Charlie Kirk. I see you connect very well, man. You're able to get yourself in rooms that most people could never even dream of. How do you do that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Actually, I've always been a huge fan of Charlie Kirk as well, and I was so grateful when they brought me onto the Real America's Voice studio a couple months ago during Christmas to share a commemorative painting in honor of his memory.
How was that?
And that was, such a huge blessing for me.
Was Erica there?
Erica was not there, but she was sent the video afterwards, and she saw it and got back to us about it.
That's
so
awesome.
It was just like such a heartwarming feeling to know, because he really stood for something that is so rare to find in society nowadays. And he has these qualities, like I've, heard so many different people's perspectives that have looked at it to see what were those qualities he had. Those are the same qualities I aim to embody, which is really,
And you do.
selflessness, leading from a place of, something much greater than yourself, as I shared before, but also being able to see the bigger picture and how to bring communities together. And like that is exactly what Soulmatch is designed to do, designed to help you create your communities and monetize and create a bigger impact with them. Because I personally have just found that to be the most effective and powerful way to get anything done, is just get enough people behind it that are all in the same mission. And then you
push.
Yeah, you all push at the same time. And that's what he did, and like really helped move the needle forward for, people to bring those America First values back into the homes, of our nation, to where, before it was just a lot of division rather than patriotism of like loving our country. He brought those values back to where we actually love and want to do good by our country.
Do you ever want to go into politics?
I would consider, if so I always think about how Trump like had been asked this question, and he was like, I would only do it if it was absolutely necessary, right? And like I'm pretty much the same way, like if I felt like there was no one else that could do the job and that I knew I had the capabilities of it, I would totally do it, and I am still to this day, like I've interfaced with the president a few times. I've been able to interview him, as well as Eric and, Don, I got to say a few words to, and just.
How'd you get to interview the president?
This was at the Shield of the Americas event about 3 weeks ago, and was fortunate enough to where one of my friends was inviting me on behalf of a media team. So we were able to come in as media, and I just
That's
essentially,
incredible.
yeah, I essentially just was in the right place at the right time. Like, you know, they literally, there was like this enclosed area where they had the bar, and he just came to have dinner there. No one knew he was going to go there to have dinner. And they shut down the whole place as soon as like he entered the building.
Wow, of
So
course.
wherever you were, you had to be stuck there. So he happened to literally just be walking right by where I was. And, you know, obviously I was just ready, like, you know,
What'd you
just
say to him?
at the time, first words, I just was like, "Thank you so much, President Trump." Like, just yeah, express that gratitude, and then said, "Make Ecuador great again," because I used to live in Ecuador.
Okay.
And
I didn't know that.
spent a year there, and had a friend that was there with me who also had lived in Ecuador, and we were both just talking about how the Ecuadorian president was literally like with him like a few minutes before that.
Yeah, yeah.
So we said that to him, and then that video ended up getting a lot of views. So it was a very, you know, commemorable moment because he responded and
Little tongue in
said,
cheek. What do you say?
he said, yeah, I just met with your president. You know, we're working on it. And he said he's a great guy. So that was like such a heartwarming moment too, because you could also feel right before he answered me, like before we'd said it, he also pointed out the two kids that were right next to us. And he was like pointing to the mother, was like, "Are these your two little ones?" And like he waved at them and smiled. And like other people had told me during that same time when he was going around that he had actually went up and asked like, "So how was your experience at the event?" Because it was a Shield of America's event, and like genuinely wanted to know how, you know, do you feel like I'm addressing what's going on with your president? You know, because there's 15 different presidents there from Latin American countries. So he actually like wanted to take the time to ask people what they thought about it. Like, I just personally had a whole new perspective of him after that. And like, look, you could form any opinions you want based off of what you see on the media,
Right.
but the rule I've always lived by, until you actually get to meet somebody in person, I don't think you can make an accurate judgment of them.
I agree.
So I just like,
It's all propaganda.
yeah, exactly. So that's how I like to base all my decisions in life. Like, what was my actual direct experience like, and how, and I don't like to tell people this is the right thing or the wrong thing unless I have direct experience to verify it.
It's incredible. Okay, how did you meet the lollies?
The lollies, yeah. So that was a good story too, actually. One of my good friends, Jimmy Levy, who I was with last night, actually at the clavicular party, he introduced, well, through posting about his interview that he did with them, and I have been friends with him for about 3 years now, and you know, we've like done a couple interviews and podcasts together that are up on my page, and so when I saw the video of the interview they did with him, I immediately reached out because I've been such a huge fan of the industry as a whole for a number of years, and obviously of Jimmy as well. He's actually my #1 favorite artist. So I reached out and told him like I was friends with Jimmy, and
That's awesome.
you know, wanted to meet up with them and
What a
see.
flex.
I guess, yeah, I guess it worked. You
Quite
know,
a flex.
to where they were like, yeah, so they were happy to meet up, and like I was just telling
They're
them,
great
like,
people.
oh, they are absolutely.
They're
And
incredible. I love them. They're such good people. And
Yeah.
those kids are incredible.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone could really do what they do. Like,
No,
it's just,
it has to be them.
yeah. And so, you know, it's amazing to have that voice in the longevity movement, and to know that there's people like that are standing up to like do it in a way, because I've always known it, like this is the only way to do it effectively, is that you can't bash other people and like tell them that they're wrong or try to fight the system.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is create a new one. So, and that new lane of media has never been created before. So it's really nice. And so, yeah, so I met with them. It was at a karate combat event as well, and just invited them out there to meet very quickly. And they saw like my Rolodex, or the people, like, because I brought them over to the ringside, and just, yeah, they saw like, you know, I was serious about like making an impact and had been involved in these circles like already, and
Yeah.
like, cause I'm not at these fights to just like, oh, sit back and watch. Like, I'm
Right.
there.
You're connecting.
Yeah, connecting with people and also seeing where I can add value, and been fortunate enough to like be able to have one-on-one conversations with those leagues and like see how to integrate biohacking. And we've been able to take some steps towards that, getting, fighters to experience things like stem cells and other regenerative therapies and really see what kind of value that can actually provide to the industry as a whole.
That's awesome.
And athletes are such a great example because, they're at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And if they're doing something that they can say works, then it just inspires so many others.
Everybody else, 100%.
So yeah, that was essentially my gateway in with them. And it's just been a wonderful journey ever since.
Do you work for them? Or do you like freelance? How does that work?
Yeah, it's been freelance to where, I have my own initiatives and my own companies that I'm involved with, but I just support in every way that I can because I'm just such a huge advocate of biohacking. And I believe they're really at the top of the field in the media space.
Yeah.
And, the Andrew Tate magazine is literally just released.
I
And
saw. That was so cool.
yeah. And, we were supposed to meet with him last night, but he didn't show up to the collab events. But yeah, we'll be doing a lot of stuff with Andrew Tate this upcoming quarter. So you'll definitely be seeing that. And just, regardless, just the
Man, if I could help in any way, let me know.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah. Just like any ways to really educate exactly like you're doing now and really bring people into this ecosystem to know that all the tools we need to pretty much address almost any disease known to man is available. And it's not like an overnight fix, but, almost anything can be treated holistically. And the more we can educate people and see that, like, we can say, like, it's just unconceivable how many lives can be saved with that. And I've seen it firsthand. I've lived it firsthand. Like, it saved my life and my family's been impacted by it. So it's just such an incredible honor to be aligned with initiatives that are driving the needle forward to, help people realize the power of their own human body, and what they can achieve.
It's incredible. Hey, if you work with digital marketing, online sales, or manage clients, you know the right tool makes all the difference. I use Go High Level, and I can guarantee that this all-in-one tool brings results for all my clients. With CRM, email, SMS, automation, scheduling, landing pages, and sales funnels, integrated and easy to use, management becomes simple, productivity increases, and campaigns perform way better. If you want to grow in an organized and efficient way, access my link and see how Go High Level can also change the way you work and sell. Are you going to the Shield premiere?
That one actually in Cannes, I don't believe I'll be able to make. It's just like traveling outside of the country right now is just a lot for me to take on. We have so much going on in Miami.
It's true.
We've got the FIFA World Cup happening right around that same time. So I'm actually getting ready to do an event here in Miami for the FIFA World Cup. So I think I'm actually just going to be locked in and focused on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are you doing for FIFA? Can you share?
Yes, we do have a family office event with MXU Agency that we're going to be doing there. And we're doing one for F1 as well. They've done them for the past 2 years, and they've always gone extremely well. We bring high-level family offices and just people that are dedicated to really creating capital from a conscious perspective to, funnel into projects that are for the benefit of humanity. And we have about 500 people that come out each year, and we bring supercars and jets just to kind of create that atmosphere.
How do I get in those rooms?
Oh, you just talk to me,
Gotta get me in those rooms, David.
Yeah,
That's
no
incredible.
worries, man. Yeah, I got you for sure. And like
That would be incredible.
anyone that wants to know more, you definitely feel free to inquire. Like, that's what we created Soulmatch as well, to help guide you to figure out what are the right rooms for you to be in and to learn, like who to connect with to get into more of those rooms. We want to help as many people as we can.
It's incredible, bro.
Yeah.
What drives you?
What drives me ultimately is that sense of like every day waking up knowing that what I'm doing is creating an impact. And a quote from Jim Carrey that has always stuck with me, and he's one of my favorite heroes, has said that the greatest impact that you have on others, the greatest currency that exists is the impact that you have on others.
Yes, it is.
So yes, so for me, knowing that the work I'm doing is creating a real impact is the drive that keeps me motivated to wake up each day, and just with such great energy. And like my friends and people that I'm around always ask me that, like, how is that you're just like always just going and you never seem to stop? Like, it's because when you love what you do, it does not feel like work.
You don't work a day in your life.
No, you just like, yeah, you're living your passion. You're living, what fuels you, and it does not drain you.
Do you see children in your future? Do you want kids?
Well, my girlfriend probably would want me to say yes. So for the sake of this podcast, yeah, I'll say yes. No, but seriously though, no, I actually do. Yeah, I do see that they will be an incredible example for me to learn how to become a better man. So I want to definitely have children at some point. And
You'd be an incredible father, David.
yeah,
Especially knowing that you lacked a father growing up. You're going to be an incredible father, bro.
yeah, and I know that heals parts of
Yes,
your own childhood.
100%.
And all the fathers that I know have told me that, them being a father helps them heal any of the wounds they might have had with their father.
Because you, at the same time that you're providing for them, you're providing for your younger self also.
That's right. Yeah. So, and I love kids, and I love there's nothing more pure in this world than a child. And it helps you remember every time you're around one how you were that way once too. And, we all go through turmoil of, just conflicting thoughts and emotions and, the ups and the downs in life, just like a child does. But like children don't really hold on to things for very long, do they? Like they might be really sad one moment and then the next they're all good. So like, they just are living present in the moment, and that's what I aim to do each day. So I don't let the winds of life to take me off my path.
David, what's a good biohack for someone to snap out of it like you did?
A great question, actually. The first thing that really comes to my mind actually is sitting in prayer or meditation long enough to where you can have an experience of God, or just an experience of coming to a symbiosis or experiencing something greater than yourself. And what I mean by that, ultimately, like, you don't have to believe in God. I don't really even like to tell people what they should or shouldn't believe, but sitting enough with yourself to where, you can kind of see beyond your own limited mind frame, because that's where we get so caught up in, like these thoughts about we're not good enough, or, I'm not enough. And I wrote a whole book called Return to the Source, all about this, through my whole journey and life's experiences. And the first chapter is called The Lie of Not Enoughness. And it is these stories that we tell ourselves.
Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon, yeah.
What's it called again?
The Return to the Source.
Return to the Source. Okay.
Yes. And so we all, ultimately that
I'm gonna get a copy of
experience
it.
need to have that experience of returning to the source of what created us. So I don't like to say always the word God, but just whatever that is for you. Knowing that there is some intelligent force of nature that created us. So taking the time to connect with that, to realize like, hey, these stories that I've told myself are literally just stories. And I, am not just a drop in the ocean, but I am the entire ocean itself. And the more I can remember that, then I have a infinite well of inspiration and knowledge to draw from at any time. And all the wisdom that I need is already encoded inside of me, because I'm one with that creator that created me.
How do you want the world to remember you? 'Cause that was beautiful. What you just said, that was very beautiful. How do you want the world to remember David?
For me, I would say ultimately I would like to just be remembered as somebody that really did his best and like taking what he had learned and applying it to create solutions for himself, for his loved ones, and for the people around him to really enrich their lives, and just make the world and the people that were in his world a better place, for them all to be in. So I believe that's the main way I'd like to be remembered, and the way I encourage, everyone around me, because whether it's just a simple smile that you give to somebody on the street as they're walking by, or lending a helping hand to somebody that, you know, is maybe like struggling carrying something, or as much as like, you know, lending an entire, you know, like business plan or giving someone a home or whatever that you can do just to get someone to that level where they just know that they're supported.
Yeah.
Because yeah, for me, actually, I look back and I reflect and I see that the only reason I am where I am is because I had the support of my family and my friends around me in the times where I was not able to, you know, do it myself. And like all of us, you know, the tools that are being used to create this podcast were created by somebody that supported us. So the more we can just be that example for others, like it always comes back around. So that's how I like to be remembered.
That's beautiful. You're so wise, man.
Thank you.
You're so freaking wise. You're like 25 going on 40. You're so wise, bro.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
David, I appreciate you taking the time to come here today. Had an incredible conversation with you, and we definitely must do a round 2.
Oh, absolutely, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Please let everyone know where they can find you, your social media, your website, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, David Townsend 1, and also on YouTube, same, just my personal name, David Townsend, with an H, and also my website, soulmatchai.org, the spidernetwork.com for entrepreneurial leaders based mostly in South Florida.
Spidernetwork.com?
Yes, that is, for people mostly in South Florida, but also all over the world, entrepreneurial leaders looking to grow and elevate amongst others that are in their fields. And then the davidtownsendconsulting.com website is where you can just learn about my work as a whole and everything I'm doing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being a Gen Zer that's out in front leading that charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people your age are nowhere near maturity, intelligence, level of world awareness that you have. It's incredible. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you, man.
It means a lot.
Yeah, continue doing what you're doing. Make sure that you continue speaking the truth and continue showing the world what's possible.
Yeah, and shout out to you, man. Really, I've been watching your content, and for the whole time I've known you, you've always stuck by that principle as well.
Thank you, man.
Really just connecting with so many amazing leaders that are on this path of sharing the truth and sharing their gifts with the world in such powerful ways, and really look forward to continuing to bring more amazing people on this podcast as well.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you, David. Guys, that was incredible, man. 25 years old, thinking about how he can serve and help others, thinking about changing situations with water and food, thinking about how he can help nations and unite presidents and share his knowledge with the world. Incredible. Please follow David. Please learn about biohacking, how that can help you, your family, your children. It can really change how you view the world and how you interact with the world. So please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and we'll see you guys next time.